We begin here at 5 o'clock with a murdered woman's daughter crying for justice and some compassion. Not from the perpetrator, but from the Pardon and Parole Board. She says she was treated with disrespect when she called the Pardon and Parole office. She was looking for information about a parole hearing for her mother's killer. News 9 crime tracker Adriana Ivashinsky joins us live from the newsroom with more on this. Adriana?
Well, Kelly, her mother was murdered 28 years ago, but this daughter deals with her death every day. She drove all the way from Houston, Texas, hoping she'd be able to address her mother's killer, only to be told she couldn't.
Today, Linda Zambrano went before the Pardon and Parole Board for the first time since her mother, Ramona Rutledge, was killed by a man she used to work with at an Oklahoma City apartment complex.
He murdered my mother, raped and strangled her when I was 11. And this is the first time that I have ever been able to speak on her behalf.
The crime happened back in 1984. James Abel Jr. was the apartment manager's son and was convicted and sentenced to life in prison for the crimes. Now Linda has come to say her piece to the board and to also let them know how poorly she feels she was treated by the Pardon and Parole office when she called asking for help.
There was no middle ground for this office. It was black or white. You're either for it or you're against it. And misleading information led me to more confusion and more misunderstandings and more resentment to the office.
Linda had hoped to be able to speak to her mother's killer face-to-face during his pardon and parole hearing on Wednesday. But due to pardon and parole policies and procedures, she can't.
It just seems better to us from a security standpoint to keep those two groups as much separated as it's possible for us to do.
But Linda says she and her fiancé plan to be here anyway, as a way to honor her mother and herself.
It's what my mom would do.
Now, Linda says she is neutral as to whether James Abel Jr. gets approved or denied for parole. The new board chairman did suggest for her to go with the victim impact coordinator with the Department of Corrections to facilitate a meeting with Abels. Live in the newsroom, Adriana Ivashinsky, News 9.
All right, Adriana, we know the Oklahoma County DA is protesting James Abels Jr.'s parole consideration. He goes before the Pardon and Parole Board tomorrow.